A warm rain to you, my dear developers. We are going to start this session. We are building our project with the NEXTJS framework using the feature sliced design architecture. We've already organized our folders and files accordingly. Yes, accordingly this architecture. So, this architecture helps ensure that the app can scale and remain maintainable as the company grows. We follow the official lawyer order recommending of the FSD website. Yes? I mean, this order. We started with the app lawyer, which is the backbone, in Spanish, columna vertebral, the backbone. Then we create the pages lawyer for our to-do module, which combine everything into a page. This one. And look at this. Yes? Followed by widgets that they will show all tags together. Yes? This module, this layer is going to show all tags together. And then we find features. These ones, features, and we will create the form to add a task. And finally, entities. We are going to define our data structure for a task. And given the small scope of our task manager admin app, we decided to skip the share layer for now. But for actual coding, we work in the reverse order. Yes? To code is necessary to start from this layer, from the contract. So in this layer, we define the contract. And then we move to the features layers, which is the heart of the user interaction. There we'll build the form where the user can enter the task title to save. Yes, in the features layers. So here, and into the UI slice or segment, excuse me, this is the place. Then we go to widgets, which centralize reusable UI components, and here we will expose the task links. Yes, here the task links. We then proceed to the pages to do. This is a layer to assemble everything on that page. And finally, we address the app layer, which is, again, one more time to say, the backbone of the entire application. Yes? In this place. We'll be working from a global architectural perspective, focusing on how each layer and technology relates and interacts. That means planning with an agile methodology using Azure DevOps, managing versions and project progress with GitHub, and building within the Azure DevOps ecosystems. So we won't be coding line by line. Instead, we'll paste ready-made code, which I'll share in this video's description, So we can orchestrate everything and scope it from a high-level perspective of planning, design, architecture, and tracking. So let's start using a conventional commit, the convention in order to name all the files. So here I have all the code. We are going to copy and paste, and I explain in line by comments everything. So as I told you before, we always start from the domain contract in FSD in the lawyer's entities here. Yes, this tax type is our single source of truth for a tax shape. So we are going to copy the code from our source, and I am going to copy the instruction and the explanation of each line of code. Yes. Okay, here is, okay, this is other file. This is the explanation and here is the code. Yes. So all tasks need to have this structure, all these required properties and its type. Yes. So in other words, this is the reference, and all tasks have to be this form, this way, to have. Again, this is the contract, and we need to expose this contract by using this public API through the index.ts file. So we are going to copy this line of code, and remember, here are all the instructions and in Spanish. Yes. What is the sport, the type, the tax? That is this is a alias type alias, which is called task, and that is that we are going to expose, but using the public API. And that is an excellent point of security, because in this way we protect the contract from other outside element. So we keep changing small and reviewable by making one commit per task. Yes, so we make one commit per task. That is the idea. So in this place, in this relative path, okay, here we are going to it's necessary to verify that you are on the feature branch. Yes, remember that this is the feature that we created last session, and we are going to make all changes over this branch and continue. So let's review in which branch we are. Remember, git branch. Okay, this is the branch in which we are, feature AU add tags, and git status. Okay, we modify these two files, the index, our public API, and our contract. Remember, these two files are in the entities layer. So we are going to git add. We can specify all the path and the name, but we can also put a dot. Okay. So we already staged this change, but now we are going to do a commit. Yes. So git commit and we are going to copy this commit, which is using conventional commits. Okay, to file changing, and remember, here are our epic and our feature, and go down our user story, and this is the user story from Azure DevOps, remember? To identify, we use T001-1, create tax entity type, and this is what I just made, this tag, create tax entity. So in this way we are maintaining and remaining synchronizing our planification in Azure DevOps, and now our actions from GitHub technology. So we will keep this good practice by doing one commit per task. So let's move on the next step. Here in feature layer, this is our second task. Is inside in this feature form to add tax titles. In this place we are going to code this slice add tax form. So let's copy the blow code, and here through this slice we are going to register or simulate the registration of the title of the tax that the user is going to write on the input test. So remember, all the components that we define in NEXTJS are server components, but we need to transform this component into a client component, and this is the way, using the declaration of use client. And with this declaration, this component is going to be a client component. So remember, here is all the instruction in Spanish, all the explanations line by line of each line of code. Here is the hook, another type. Look at this type. There is an alias type, which is called add tax for props, and then this type is going to use as a type in these function definitions. And look at this property of the object. This is an object, a normal object, and this is the only property. Then we are going to destructuring. Here we are destructuring, so this on add is now a variable, not a property of an object. And then again the use state. Well, this is everything, the handles. Remember, this component is going to return a form with an input and a button and these elements have an unchanged attribute, and those are the handles that is going to manage those elements, and they are going to be controlled, yes, not by DOM, the document object model, not, rather or instead by NEXTJS. So let's move on to our public API, this one, for expose just what we need to the other outside elements can read, yes, or can see. So let's continue with our methodology to make a commit per task, yes. So okay, here in GitHub, don't forget, read all the instruction. For example, here says you are verifying that you are on the feature branch, yes, remember, that is the first thing. Of course, we are in the same place, but for example, if you are going to make this in another place, so we are in the appropriate branch, so we are going to stage these two changes, and then we will do a commit. So git add, okay, and git commit but remember to continue with this format. We are going to copy this. Okay, perfect. We has these commits. So remember to identify this task. We named it T-001-2, and let's move to Azure DevOps, and here we find the same name, T-0012, and this is the task of our user story, the number 2, create a task form feature. It's inside of the feature, and it's a client component and types prop, yes? And that is excellent, my developers, to maintain everything, orchestrate it and synchronize it, and aligns all what we do in the different technologies that we are using, but at the same time in a synchronized way, yes? Okay, let's continue with our next task from widgets layer, the number 3 task, which is inside the widget layer and orchestrates state and list. In this layer, or in this slide, we are going to list all the tags that the user has written into the input text. So we are going to select and copy this, and again, don't remember don't forget to review all the instruction in Spanish to understand line by line. So we are going to copy our public API. Okay, but I forget to copy the instruction. Okay, so let's make a commit for these tags. Git add and git commit, and use the message. Remember that these instructions are going to be in the video's description. Okay, to file changes, and we have all these commits. So git log, look at all the commits. The first commit, well, this was in October 7. Today, first, this is the 1, this is the 2, the 3, and this is the head. Yes, the head is addressing the branch feature and the user story add tags. Yes, we run git log and it takes us into a pager. Now we need to exit this screen by pressing the key K. Yes, I mean, after running git log, we enter in a pager. Yes, this place which leads all the commits and all the actions that we made, and it's necessary to leave it. Just press key K. So key and then okay, excuse me. When we use git log, the only key that is necessary to press is Q. Well, there are many different ways, but in this case, just press the Q key, and yes, no more. Okay, let's move on the next layer, which is pages to do layer. The number 4 task combining everything in one page. Yes, that is the page that centralizes all that we have done. So I am going to select and that is the code. Here we are importing the component, the width from the widgets layer, and we are placed it here, yes, in the main tag. So now in the public API, just put, and again, oh, look at this, we are using an alias to bring this task page. Yes, that is the page, and that is the way to protect the page using a public API by writing an index.ts file. So remember, let's continue keeping our good practice and methodology to make a commit per task. So I am going to select the message. Okay, 2 files. Okay, we are about to finish, and remember, we start in this moment from the entity layers, and then we move on to the features layers, and from here we imported the contract, and then we move on the widgets layer, and from here we imported the features, the form, the tax form, and then we move on the pages layer and imported from this layer the widgets to make the list of all tasks. And finally, we are going to place in this app layer to orchestrate everything. So let's move on. App layer, that is the number 5 task, which is the backbone, in Spanish, columna vertebral of the whole project, the whole project. It would be better whole project, and the place is here, yes, in the app. So okay, and that's it. We finished all the final tags. So we are going to make a commit per this task. Git add git commit. I don't remember. Okay, we don't have. Okay, it doesn't matter. We are going to base on the previous commit here, T001. We continue -5 and create the task route to orchestrate everything. Yes, for example. But the important for conventional commits is to use this number. Yes. Okay. Well, enter. In the Azure DevOps. Okay. Okay. This is a challenge to change this title of the task for the, well, try to align this name of the task from Azure DevOps with the name of the commit, yes, in your progress. Okay, the only step that is missing is to finally make a push. So git push dash or hyphen, I don't know, some people say hash, dash, excuse me, and others hyphen. Git push dash u, and the origin branch. We call it hu, no, excuse me, feature slash hu add task. Yes, just like this. Hu dash add dash task. Okay, we waiting for a while. Excellent. So let's do, okay, we can close. Oh yes, let's validate to, okay, look at this. I forgot to put the number, yes, 001. I forgot that from the previous class, but don't worry, it doesn't matter. But you are going to do better than me. You are going to specify the number, remember, because there are many other user stories. Remember, the user story number 2, the user story number 3, and in your huge project you are going to have many other different user stories. So okay, let's move on to the GitHub repository remote, and look at this feature. Okay, that is another another different project. Is this. Let me see source and app. No, this is another different repository. Excuse me, is this one 2 minutes ago. This is another repository, but here I am using TDD, driven by testing. Is another little and small project, but let's move on to the right project. Okay, source, and that's it. An app, task, and the page, yes, that we made. Oh, what happened? Of course. Remember, we made a pull request. Look at this. That is a pull request. So at this point we already have a pull request in GitHub. Yes, a pull request is basically a formal request for code review. It allows the technical lead or whoever is responsible for the main branch to either approve or reject the changes. Yes, if approved, the feature branch will be merged into main branch. In our case, after we push our branch, we went to this remote repository on GitHub, and we are watching this green button. This button is the option to create or complete the pull request. So we are going to GitHub realize that we send a pull request, and well, he's remind us this task. So we are going to push. Okay, we have to write the title of this. For example, left this title. We can write an excellent and large description with all details about what we made, what we are going to make. Okay, I was looking for a template for a pull request. We are going to use user story dash 001. Task, for example. It doesn't matter the title, and this is our here. What we need to write is what we did, excuse me. For example, new add tags form.tss with stage and validation in feature layer. And we make new tags leaks in widget layer. Tailwind, for example, how to test, how to run, how to execute PNP install and PNP dev, the URL in which our project is going to run, localhost 3000 port/tags, and that's it. We are going to press this button and tell him create pull request. Okay, this is our pull request. So after we click the green pull request button, GitHub opens this new window. By default, the title of the pull request usually start with the name of our branch. Yes, and for example, feature. And this stage we should provide a clear and descriptive title, just what we done, and more importantly, we should write a meaningful description. This is our description. Well, they are better than this, but this is our first description in our first pull request. The description should explain what changes this branch introduced, why they are needed, and any context the reviewers may require. After filling in the details, we can create the pull request by clicking the green button again. But well, it's important to understand that the process of merging code from a branch to the main branch. The pull request is a communication tool. The title and the description, this title and the description must be clear enough for the technical lead and teammates to understand the purpose of the changes. Yes, this is where code review really starts. So the step one, to summarize, is give the pull request a clear title like this. Step 2, write a meaningful description. And step 3, create the pull request, and then the review process begin. So once the pull request is created, the next step is the review process. The technical lead or assigned reviewers will check the code, add comments, and either request changes or approve it. If everything looks good and the reviewers approve, the pull requests can be merged into the main branch. Merging is the action that actually integrates this feature branch into the main project code base. Yes? After merging, your branch or this branch changes become part of main, and usually the feature branch can be deleted. We can delete it, or no, yes, it's better to delete. So look at this. This says no conflict with base branch. Merging can be performed automatically. So we are going to push this button, merge pull request. There are other options. Create a merge commit. All commits from this branch will be added to the base branch via merge commit. Yes, and this is the other option, is a little more in difficult situations, and rebase is something that we are going to see later. So create a merge commit, merge pull request. It's necessary to confirm or change something, but say left in this way and confirm merge. Okay. So the pull request was approved. Let's move back to the repository, and in the code we are going to see, for example, search app task, and look at this, the file page.txx. Everything is in the respective place, and everything was submitted into our GitHub repository remote. For example, features, look at this, our public API. So that's it. That is everything, and that is the methodology that I am asking you to deliver on time your huge project about the topics that were written. I don't remember. Okay, I don't remember. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all your attentions, and God bless you.